Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to discuss data types in Java. Topics covered in this video are what is data type, what are different data types in Java, and different data type size. What is data type? Data type defines type of values that variable can store or variable can take. In any programming language, whatever operation you want to perform, for that you need some data. So how to define that data? By using data type. If you want to declare variable, at that time also you need data type. Data type tells compiler intent of the programmer to use the variable. Data type also defines attribute of a variable. All variable must be declared before they are used using data type. Since Java is strictly typed programming language, before using any variable, it must be declared. Next, we have different data types available in Java. So, according to the property which data possess, we have two categories of data type. Number one is primitive data type and number two is non-primitive data type, which are also known as reference data type. Primitive data types comes by default with a language. Here is primitive data type, that is integer, floating point, character and boolean. So this data types by default comes with programming language. Non-primitive data type like classes, interfaces, arrays and string, they are defined by programmer or by the developer. So Java developer included primitive data type for maintaining portability. So if you are changing from one operating system to another operating system, then you don't have to modify your code. This is going to remain common on all of the operating system. So it maintains portability. Also, primitive data types are type that are self-contained and holds atomic value. So if you are using any of this primitive data type, they are going to hold atomic value. That means they are going to hold a single value. Using non-primitive data type, you can hold collections of value. So now let's see primitive data types in detail. So byte, short, int and long, they are the data type that comes under numerical, that is a data without decimal places. So if you have any data without decimal places, you can go for any of this data type. Another numeric data type we have as float and double. They are used for representing fractional values or decimal values. So if you have numbers with decimal places, then you can go for float and double. Next we have char data type. If you want to use or if you want to store a single character, then you can go for char data type. Next we have boolean data type. If you want to store either true or false value or yes no kind of answer, then you can go for boolean data type. Next is calculating range of data types. So based on the data type which you have declared for a particular variable, the operating system allocates memory and it decides what can be the stored in that memory. So here is the formula which gives you range of particular data type. So what values a particular data type can store is given by this formula. So the formula is minus 2 raised to number of bits minus 1, comma 2 raised to number of bits minus 1 and minus 1. So here I have given square bracket, that means this both value will be inclusive value. This gives range of a particular data type. This range specifies the value which we can use for that particular data type. So let me give one example. I am taking example of byte data type. Byte data type occupies 1 byte, that is 8 bits. So now I'm going to substitute this number of bits with 8. So minus 2 raised to 8 minus 1, 2 raised to 8 minus 1 minus 1. So what I'm getting? I'm getting minus 2 raised to 7, 2 raised to 7 minus 1. That is minus 28 to plus 27. So if I'm using byte data type, I can assign value from, so in between any of this value I can use. If I'm exceeding this range, then I'm going to get error. This way you can calculate range of a data type. So you don't have to remember the range, you can remember only the byte it occupies in memories. Next, we are going to see all primitive data types in detail. So here is Boolean. Boolean is used to represent true or false value. The memory it is going to occupy is what? 1 bit. Boolean is having only two literal value, that is true and false. The default value for Boolean is false. I mean to say, if you don't assign any value to Boolean variable, it is going to take default value as false. Here are few examples. So I have declared variable is selected of type Boolean. Now you can see I have not assigned value to this variable, so it is going to take false value. Another variable I have taken is found, which is of type Boolean, and what value I am assigning? I am assigning true. So you can assign values either true or false. Next data type we have as char data type. Char is generally used to store a single character. So if you want to store only a single character like C, S, A, B, C, you can go for char data type. But while storing char, you need to enclose it in single quotes. You can also use ASCII value to display or store certain character. So if you don't want to store C, S in a character format, you can store its ASCII value also. Char data type occupies 2 bytes of memory and the default value for char data type is /u 4 times 0, that is a 0 value. Then here are the few example. I have declared variable C1 which is holding single character S in single quote. Another variable I have declared C2, variable C2 which is holding 65 which is nothing but ASCII value of character A. Next we have byte and short data type. Byte data type is used instead of int. So if you want to store only a smaller value, you can go for byte data type and it saves memory. So for example, if you want to store values in a range -128 to 128, you can go for byte data type. Byte data type occupies 1 byte of a memory and the default value for byte data type is 0. Default value for any numeric non-fractional data type is always going to be 0. Here is the example. I have declared variable n equal to 123 and the data type is byte. If I am trying to store value 128 or larger than this range, we won't be able to store that value. Another data type we have as short data type. So short data type is greater than byte data type, but it is smaller than integer data type. So if you want to store some value in this range, you can go for short data type. Suppose I want to store value like 23,456, then I can use short data type. The memory reserve for short data type is 2 bytes and the default value it takes is what? 0. Next we have int and long. So int is preferred data type whenever you are creating variable without decimal places, and the range you can see of integer is minus this to plus this, and int occupies 4 bytes of a memory and the default value for int is again 0. Here is the example of integer. So int n is equal to this value. So I can assign any value in this range. If you have very large value, then you can go for long data type. You can see this is what the range of long data type. The memory size required for long data type is 8 bytes and the default value for it is 0. For calculating factorial of a large number, we can't go for byte, short or int. We have to use long data type. Next type of data is floating point data, that is data with fractional values. Floating point data type are used for representing real number or a number which is having fractional precision. Java supports two floating data type. One is float, another is double. Float is also known as single precision data type and double is known as double precision data type. Now let's understand what is this single precision and double precision. So if you are using float, that is a single precision, after decimal it can hold 6 or 7 digits, and if you are using double data type, after decimal it can hold, or we can put around 15 values. The range for float data type is this, and the range for double data type is this. Memory required for float is 4 bytes, and the default value for float is 0.0f. For writing float value with suffix f with the value. Here is the example. I have declared variable f and here is my data, and we have to suffix f or whenever you are assigning value to a float variable. Double occupies 8 bytes of memory and the default value for double is 0.0, and you can omit d, or if you want you can suffix d also. The example for double is what I have taken one variable and then here I am suffixing d. It is optional. You can omit d from double but you cannot omit f from float. Here is the table which is showing the different primitive data types available in Java, the size which it requires, and the range of the values and the default value which it can store. So you can see Boolean occupies what 1 bit of memory, byte 8 bits, short 16 bits. I have given in bytes also, and these are the range. If you are unable to remember range, you can apply the formula for calculating range. And in Java, if you are declaring any variable, assigning values to that variable, instead of storing junk or garbage value, it stores default value. So this was all about primitive data type. Next we have non-primitive data types. Non-primitive data types refers to the objects and hence they are called reference data types. So here are few example of non-primitive or reference data type. Arrays, string, classes, interface, objects, enumeration, they all belongs to non-primitive data types. So if you want to use this type of data, you have to create object of this particular data type and then you can use that data. So this was all related to non-primitive data type. I'm going to cover details of each and every non-primitive data types in my upcoming videos. Let me open IntelliJ and let me demonstrate how to use data types in Java. So I have started IntelliJ and I have created one project in that. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create few variables of different data types and I'm going to demonstrate how it works. So let me create variable of type char. So char c is equal to some value in that char. Then again I'm creating variable of type boolean. Boolean b is equal to true. Similarly, I'm creating variable of type byte. So byte by is equal to, now I'm assigning value 256 to it. So what I'm getting error over here. So you can see it has highlighted in red, and so you can see it has highlighted in red and it is showing required type is byte and provided is int. So what does it mean? The value which you have provided is not coming in range of this byte. You can see here it is showing the error that cast to byte or what change the variable type to int. So the value assigned is what? Greater than 127. So it is giving you option that you typecast it to byte, or what you can do, you can change it to integer value. So let me give value lesser than that. So that is a byte variable. Again, you can create double variable for storing your floating data. So double D is equal to, for example, I'm storing some value in that. And then next float variable, float F is equal to some value I'm storing in float variable also. Now it is showing me error because I have not suffix F here. So I need to suffix F here. So if I suffix, my error is gone. So character, boolean, byte, double, float, you can have short, integer or other data type also. And then what you can do, you can probably print the values of this. So let me quickly print. So char, then the character value will be printed. On the next line, I'm going to print boolean value, that is B. Then again on the next line, I'm going to print byte value. So you can see here, I don't have to specify any format specifier. Automatically just giving a variable name is going to print your values. Then again next line, plus sign is for concatenation. So in single s out, I'm writing all my variables. So therefore I have used plus sign concatenation operator, and slash n is going to come in double quotes because it is not variable. So my next variable is double D, and now I have last variable. So one more slash n I'm going to take, and my last variable is what? Variable F. You can see it is showing me error over here because I have not added plus symbol, that is concatenation operator. So you cannot have string along with your variable. So you should put what? Concatenation operator. So now my program is complete. What I'm going to do, I'm going to run this program. So let me click on run button. You can see now it is showing me the output. Whatever data I have taken in variable, I had just tried to print that data. I have told you that inside character you can store ASCII value also. So let me show that part. So here I have taken variable C1 and I'm assigning value 65 to 8, and then let me print this value. So now you can see it is printing capital A because 65 is ASCII value of capital A. Another thing I would like to show over here, suppose you have forgotten range of data type, then you can get range of data type also. For example, I want to print integer minimum value and maximum value. So I can go for integer dot main value. And similarly, I can print integer dot max value also. Integer is a wrapper class which is going to come in my upcoming videos. So I have printed minimum value and maximum value. Let me show you what output I am getting after running this program. Now you can see it is showing me minimum and maximum values of integer. Similarly, you can see minimum and maximum value of other data type also. Just you have to use wrapper class over here. For that you have to use wrapper classes. So for character we have wrapper class as character, and then for boolean we have wrapper class as boolean. For byte we have wrapper class as byte, and so on. So that topic I'm going to discuss in my upcoming video, wrapper classes. This was just a simple demonstration of how to create data types and how to use it. You can create data type and you can assign value during design time, or you can accept value at runtime into this data types and variables. So that was all related to data types in Java. In my next video, I'm going to explain how to convert one data type into another data types, that is typecasting. Friends, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe and share my videos with your friends and families. And please don't forget to like and comment on my videos. If you have any doubt, you can put in comment box. I'm going to definitely solve that doubts. See you in my next video. Till that, bye bye and thank you.